Emotional reaction from all around after the horrific shootings inside a Florida high school this week. Take a listen to MSNBC's Joe Scarborough, who used the tragedy to compare President Trump to Pontius Pilate.
He's supposed to be man of action. He is letting our children get slaughtered week by week by week, and it will happen again. He's letting Christians that go to church get slaughtered like Pontius Pilate. Paul Ryan, Donald Trump, they're just washing their hands of it like Pontius Pilate, letting Christians get slaughtered in pews, letting country fans get slaughtered at concerts.
That one left me speechless. Let's bring in the panel. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk and Chris Hahn, former aide to Chuck Schumer, syndicated radio host. All right, is he right, Chris?
Well, look, I think we've got a gun culture in this country, and we've got a Congress that doesn't want to do anything about it. I suspect that Donald Trump is not as tied to the NRA as Paul Ryan and some of his members in the House and many of the members in the Senate. And I would like to see the president propose sensible gun solutions, because I think that the president could appeal to a part of the country that many progressives who have been searching for this for years won't be able to. And I think that the president understands that something needs to be done. And I'm hoping to God that over the next couple of weeks, he proposes something that's sensible, that can break through and change this gun culture that is killing so many.
So I'll ask the question again. Is Joe Scarborough right? Yes or no? Chris?
I don't think so. I wouldn't compare him to Pontius Pilate.
All right, good. Go ahead, Charlie.
But you know what? If he does nothing, you can.
Yeah, Joe Scarborough is far from being right. Scarborough has just gone farther and farther off the deep end ever since Trump won, because he was on the wrong side of history. He said he's going to lose historically, and all of a sudden now he is comparing the President of the United States to Pontius Pilate. It's astonishing. But going to this comment about gun laws, I always challenge back, well, what exactly is the left's position? Do you want a universal gun confiscation? Do you want handguns to be banned as well? Because if that's really your position, that's the majority of gun deaths in this country. And so if you think our gun laws are actually fostering an environment and a culture that is making us have more gun violence, then why not just ban all guns, if that's the stated position? Because right now, if you look at the majority of gun violence in the country comes from handguns, of course, that would be foolish, wrong, and completely impossible. So I would love this soundbite of common sense gun reform. I would love to hear exactly what that means, Chris, because that's a talking point of the Democrats. Yet there's very little.
I'll tell you what it means, because I'll tell you what it means if you stop filibustering. So the bottom line is this. We need private insurance on every gun, and we need a registry on every gun. And people who the Florida Department of Children and Families visits who are troubled and who are finding that they want to buy guns, they should never be buying guns, right? They should never be doing it. But if we had a private insurance system here,
we have background checks.
Hold on. Wait.
Chris,
you wanted my solution.
Chris, gun insurance. Charlie, what do you say to that?
Well, look, so you're going to mandate gun insurance for gun owners and firearm manufacturers? I don't think so.
What about the illegal
insurance
guns?
behind a right?
Stop, both of you.
We do it for
Chris,
cars.
you want to tell me all the guys in Chicago who belong to gangs are going to say, gee, my gun's illegal, but I'm going to run out and get insurance?
Precisely.
If every gun is registered from the minute it leaves the manufacturer and had to be insured, there'd be less illegal guns on the street. It's simple as that. There are less illegal cars on the street because we know where they are at all times, and people have insurance, and the private sector finds them when they are lost. That's the thing. We need a private sector market solution for guns. It will work. It works with cars, and it'll work with guns.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well,
Charlie,
look,
Charlie, I'm sorry.
First of all, that would be completely impossible. We have over 250 million guns in this country, most of whom have not been registered and are owned illegally by guns in our urban cities. Let's see. But we're talking about the massive shooting in Florida, and that would not have prevented the massive shooting. You know what would have prevented it? If the FBI would have done their job. We have enough laws on the books. We do not need Washington, D.C. to pass more onerous gun regulations.
Or if the Children did their job.
Or the FBI could actually follow on leads.
Florida did their job.
The FBI was notified
the Florida
twice and did
Department of
nothing.
Family and Children visited this guy a year and a half ago, and they knew he was wanting to buy guns, and they said in their report they didn't know what he wanted them for.
Chris, but the FBI got a tip 5 weeks before saying all of this stuff, and they did nothing.
Yeah, and that's horrible too, Judge. I'm not giving them a pass on that, and nobody should. But let's remember there were lots of warning signs here missed by lots of agencies.
Okay, except the most specific to the FBI. Charlie, let me ask you a question. The president tweeted, just like they don't want to solve the DACA problem, why didn't the Democrats pass gun control legislation when they had the president, the House, and the Senate during the Obama administration? Because they didn't want to, and now they just talk. What do you say?
Well, and I agree with that for the most part. I mean, they did have control of all three chambers. I mean, thankfully, we were able to block it, in 2009 and 2010. They did try their best. But look, the answer is not more federal gun legislation. The majority of gun deaths in this country are death by suicide and gang-related deaths in urban areas with handguns. We have a culture problem in this country that has stemmed from failing public schools and bad government programs. This idea that people are just getting gunned down in the street in record numbers because everyone's having a machine gun, which, by the way, is illegal, is completely wrong, is adverse to reality.
We have a gun culture in this country that is getting out of control. You combine that with a mental health problem that's not being addressed, and we are at a place where we're going to see more and more of these mass shootings, and it is horrible, and something needs to be done. And I'm hoping that President Trump, who should have no real loyalty to the NRA, and listen, the reason why the Democratic Congress didn't pass it when they had a chance, because the NRA owned a few of them too. It's time for this president to work and act on this immediately.
What about the Second Amendment, Chris?
Well, look, no amendment is absolute. Even Justice Scalia said that that amendment could have restrictions as well. Justice Scalia wrote that, and I think Ronald Reagan said that as well. So it's time for that amendment not to be treated like any other, like to be treated like every other amendment and have reasonable restrictions.
Charlie Kirk, 10 seconds.
Yeah, already has reasonable restrictions. We have the Brady bill. We have national federal background checks. We've closed all these loopholes in the 80s and 90s, not to mention we have waiting periods in a lot of states. This idea that we have no federal gun legislation is just wrong. Just
all right,
wrong. Enforce the law in the books.
The NRA owns too many politicians, and it probably owns your organization.
Oh, stop it. We'll be right back.
Candace, 2 minutes. Oh, too late for lunch.
Stockers, save the day.
Sweet and spicy tuna in a pouch. Smart choice, Charlie.
No drain, no pain, just tear, eat,
and go.
Try our new Tuna Creations bold flavors.
Now ADT helps protect your family at home and on the go. With ADT Go, the new family mobile safety app and service. Get ADT Go for free with any ADT security system. ADT.